Hello, welcome to day 13 of 100 Days of Soulforce. My name is Joseph Arnold. Today I'm going to be talking about the 6 principles of playing from the heart. These 6 principles are my way of helping you really understand what playing from the heart is all about. Because it's not about getting more technique, right? It's not about necessarily just practicing more. It's not about using techniques of expression even better. It's something else. There's something else going on that brings our performances alive, that makes us sparkle up on stage, that gives us the it factor, and which can really move our audiences, which can create miracle producing performances for our audiences. That's what playing from the heart can allow. And I'm absolutely fascinated by what playing from the heart is, and I love teaching it. So I'm doing a whole bunch of videos within 100 Days of Soulforce just on playing from the heart. And this is also going to be a big part of my book coming up. And if you want to learn more about my book, sign up for my newsletter. You'll get early access and snippets from the book, that kind of thing. So before we get into that, again, my name is Joseph Arnold. I'm a violinist, Alexander Technique teacher, and founder of the Soulforce Arts Academy. And one of my great joys, again, is teaching how to play from the heart. For me, this is the core of what the arts in general is all about, maybe what the core of what life is all about, and certainly the core of what Soulforce artistry is all about. It's that having that channel from inside out open so that your soul really shines through your performances. And that's what everybody wants to hear. That's what everyone wants to see and feel when they see you perform. And that's what performers want, right? And this is also what teachers want to be able to elicit from their students. And yeah, it's hard to put into words. It's hard to know exactly how to teach that and how to do it even in your practicing. So I have these 6 principles of playing from the heart that are part of my whole method of playing from the heart. And so today I'm just going to go through each of these and maybe give you some examples here and there so you can get a real embodied sense. What does it mean? How do you actually do this? All right, number 1. The first principle is what you pay attention to and how you pay attention while performing determines the quality of the performance. So while you're up on stage, what you're paying attention to and how you're paying attention determines the quality of your performance. It's invariably reflected what you're thinking about. For instance, the way I discovered all of this was asking my students, what are you paying attention to when you're playing? When they were just going blah, 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 getting the notes right. And that's what they said. They said, oh, I'm paying attention to getting the notes right. And that's how it sounded, right? So what they were thinking about, what they were paying attention to, came out in their sound. And then when they were paying attention to their inner audience member, which we'll get to in a second, the lived experience of the emotions, then that came through in their sound. So there's this reflection that can happen. What you think about, the quality of your thinking, if you have a really narrow focus or rigid kind of mindset, or not even just a mindset, but quality of attention, or a more open, spacious quality of attention, that will also come through in your sound, come through in your stage presence, come through in your quality of movement. So what you pay attention to and how you pay attention gets mirrored into your performances. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2 is playing from the heart means paying attention to your inner audience member while you play. Your inner audience member is that which is alive inside you as you play, your emotional thought response. I'm going like this because this is where it lives. It lives in your body. music, dance, acting, painting, any of these arts, you can listen from your inner audience member to get the felt sense, the felt emotional, the lived emotional sense of what you're doing as you're doing it. And so when you pay attention to this is something that is alive inside you that will get reflected in your sound. But if you pay attention to a static idea, like got to get it right, or got to get this mechanics of the piece, or like, oh, I hope I don't forget this, that then your mind kind of narrows, and you're no longer listening to your inner audience member, which means you're no longer playing from the heart, and then your performance will suffer from that. All right, so the core of playing from the heart is paying attention. It's how you pay attention, what you pay attention to, and it's this: you pay attention gently to your inner audience member. And this is, so that quality of gentleness, receptivity, is our third principle of playing from the heart. So authentic artistry, this is what we're going for, not something contrived. Authentic expressivity comes from your inner audience member. That's the third principle. It can't be something contrived. There are so many artists in the world who are incredible technicians, and yet when I hear them or I take in their performances, it just does nothing for me here. Technique is not sufficient. We'll get to that more in a minute. But if you want to know where authentic, lived, or vital expressivity comes from, it's the inner audience member. Yeah, and what your audiences want is to have that authentic connection with you. They don't want to see you just manufacture something on stage that doesn't do anything emotionally. It doesn't matter how fancy it is. If there isn't that real emotional connection in yourself, then your audiences, then your performance is not going to have that authentic flavor, and your audiences aren't going to appreciate that, right? But if you do, listen here, then it's going to be wow. People are going to be really drawn into what you're doing. And it's that flavor of authenticity that comes from listening to your inner audience member. Okay, number 4. Your inner audience member shows up in 2 different ways in your body. Number 1 is feelings. Number 2 is wishes. Your inner audience member's feelings are a result of what you've just done, what you've just played, what you've heard in your sound, what you felt in your own movements. This is kind of retrospective in a sense. Oh, what has just happened? How do I feel about that? Those are the feelings. And you can get this just like listening to music, right? When you listen to a piece of music and you really like, and it makes you feel like dancing, this is the kind of feelings that I'm talking about. So one aspect of playing from the heart is, can you make yourself feel like you want to dance? So then the second aspect of the inner audience member's wishes. So when you'll also have feelings in your body that are more like, oh, let's do this thing next in the piece. It might just be like a little, ooh, let's try that. Or, here comes that part. Or, oh, I want it to feel like this, right? And that's the wish of your inner audience member. Or, it could even show up like, oh, this part is coming next. Or here's the beginning of the wave crashing in this phrase. These are the wishes of your inner audience member. Let me just look at my notes here. Okay. So we got 2 more left here. Number 5. Both heart and technique are necessary for soulful, expressive, masterful performances, but neither are sufficient in themselves. So if you have beautiful, great feelings inside you, but you don't have the technique to make it happen, then right? Both you're gonna feel frustrated, and that feeling is not going to be expressed to your audience. And likewise, if you have tons of amazing technique, you can do anything you want on the instrument, but no connection here, then the technique is meaningless. The pursuit of technique should happen as a result of the wishes of your inner audience member. It is not wise to create an edifice of technique devoid of heart. Because how you practice becomes how you perform. If you create something devoid of technique in the practice room, devoid of heart in the practice room, then when you go to perform, then you have a performance that's devoid of heart. So the reason to get better technique is to follow the wishes of your inner audience member. Oh, wouldn't it feel so good, so fun to do that double backflip plie or whatever, or to be able to play the Sibelius violin concerto. Wouldn't that feel amazing, right? So that's the wish coming up. And then you have motivation that's based on the heart to build your technique to follow that wish. That's the proper relationship of heart and technique. Okay. Last one. So the last principle of playing from the heart says, you and your audience inter-are. Inter-are. What does that mean? Interbeing is an idea that comes from Thich Nhat Hanh, who was a great Zen master, Vietnamese Zen master. And his idea was that your being and my being partake of each other. We are not separate monads in the world randomly interacting, but everything in the world is a part of who we are, and we are a part of everything in the world. Interbeing can be summed up with an idea like it's like oneness, but still with individuality. Interbeing can be summed up with an idea like you are me looking through a different pair of eyes. Or I am you looking through a different set of eyes. So you can see this principle of interbeingness. It goes even beyond interconnectedness. We inter-are. When you play from the heart, your audiences will be more connected to their own hearts. When you listen deeply to yourself as you play, your audience will be drawn in to listen more deeply to you and to themselves as they play. If you are bored when you play, your audience is going to be bored. You see? So there's nothing to manufacture here in playing from the heart. There's nothing to strive for. You don't have to try to make your audience feel something. The key to the whole thing, the key to moving, to transporting your audience, is to allow yourself to be transported by your own playing. I'll say that one more time. The key to transporting your audience is to allow yourself to be transported as you play. Okay. So these are the 6 principles of playing from the heart. Hope you found some of it useful. Please do reach out if you have any questions or comments. And do subscribe to my channel and sign up for my email list. You can check out my blog on my website, josepharnold.com. And if you want lessons in how to do this, let me know. I can teach you. And then your playing will have this luminous quality, this kind of expressivity that everybody around you will just like lock onto you when they hear you, when they see you. They'll be drawn into you, and they'll be deeply moved by what you do. This is what we want. And this is what the world needs too, because as you come more alive when you play, your audiences will come more alive in themselves. And as Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. Instead, ask what makes you come alive and go do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive. This is what we can do as artists. Become alive in ourselves, and because of interbeingness, our audiences come alive. This is our great gift. Okay, I'll see you next time.